Ladies and gentlemen, live from the NFL Draft in Las Vegas, my name is MJ Hurley. I am here with my guy Joe. We're already getting interrupted by the PA announcement, which we absolutely love to hear. Live from Caesars Forum in Las Vegas, MJ and Joe here. Joe, Packers just selected linebacker Quay Walker out of Georgia with the 22nd pick. Wide receivers on the board. They didn't take him. What do you think?
I think the guy that they're looking for got taken earlier, a couple of them. So, for whatever reason, they couldn't trade up for him, so they went with the player they felt was the best available. And, the thing is, Devin Lloyd is a guy that I really like a lot. And to get a guy like Quay Walker, who I know people like shake their head, why? He's a leader. You go back and look at that Georgia defense, he was the leader of that defense. If you go back to the national championship game against Alabama, he's moving guys around, getting in other players' asses about it a little bit because they're not lined up right. They didn't make the right play. At speed, he can cover for a linebacker. He can rush the passer. He's a three-down guy. You put him next to Devondre Campbell, now you got a really good linebacking group. And I think Green Bay is trying to build through the defense and not necessarily through the offense.
So, Joe, I'm curious. Everybody's going to be mad that they didn't take a wide receiver. A lot of people on draft Twitter like George Pickens. I think you and I liked him. I wanted Jermaine Johnson. That was the guy I said moments before the pick was made. Why was George Pickens not the receiver that was selectable at the 22nd pick?
Well, like I do, there's some character questions. And that's what it amounts to. There's certain things about him that teams are kind of hesitant. And he doesn't really had he hasn't played a full year of football, even at the collegiate level. So there's an injury question right there as well. So if you look at it, there is some questions with George Pickens. And I think, again, they want to build through that defense. They still got pick 28. That can be a spot where you get a Pickens. I think that'll make a lot of sense right there. At 22, that's a little too high.
Will Pickens still be available at 28?
Why not? I mean, when Kansas City jumped Green Bay, I thought that's what I thought. We both sat next to each other and said, "That hey, Pickens." And when they didn't pick him, we're like, "Oh, okay." Look at. I think the big question is, why Walker and not Jermaine Johnson? I mean, that's an edge rusher premium position. You have to commit. Not to say question it, but you have to ask yourself why. Why that pick versus the other? But you know what? I think they're comfortable with what they have there, and they can make moves. And look, they still got pick 20. You've seen A.J. Brown get traded. You've seen Hollywood Brown get traded.
Why didn't the Packers get in on A.J. Brown? They had the capital to go do that.
$100 million, $57 million guaranteed. I mean,
for A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I don't know.
Joe, I thought the cap was fake.
I'm not a capologist. I don't pretend to be. Okay, I don't pretend to be a capologist.
That's what the other Joe's for.
Yeah, that's him. That's not me. What I feel like Gutekunst has a plan in place. And he's proven, aside from Jordan Love right now, all of his picks in the first round have hit.
Yes.
So I don't see why we can question it, but I don't see why we have to jump off the ledge because it's not a receiver. You don't draft a need. Right. You stay true to your board. If it's me, I would have drafted a receiver the last couple of years, a little more, and then not be in this situation. But, he did it. It is what it is at this point. You got to just suck it up.
So what does this mean? Devondre Campbell was big on, and he even said in an interview recently, he came to Green Bay to specifically play, that true middle linebacker position, play where he wanted to. Where does Walker fit in with the rest of the core on defense that Green Bay currently has?
I think he can play a little bit of the will. Okay. And I think you can line him up outside and rush on the edge. You can do a lot of different things with him. He's multi-dimensional. And that's something that Chris Barnes isn't. So right. Now you upgraded that position, but Barnes is still a good player too. So you have both of them. That linebacker group is finally got some depth to it, some athleticism, and again you have a backer now. You can move him around all over the place. And then you got Jair's playing the star position. Now Jair's coming there. You don't know where the blitz is going to come from. Joe Barry's going to have a field day with that defense.
And I think the biggest thing you just mentioned is Jair Alexander being able to play the star position with Rasul and Eric Stokes there. If Jair Alexander is healthy, he can do what Jalen Ramsey was able to do with the Rams defense this year. There's a reason they won the Super Bowl, because their best player on defense, Jair is our best player, he can roam the field. That's something Quay Walker can do at the middle level as well. He has the speed to play sideline to sideline. Packers didn't have a linebacker that were able to do that. Now they do.
Absolutely. And that's something, again, a leader. You look at what Green Bay's been adding. Guys, Jair is a leader in Louisville. Look at Kenny Clark at UCLA, and although it wasn't a Gutekunst pick, it's still a leader. They're adding guys with leadership, high characters. They always do, but he's a dog. No pun intended. He is a dog. Great walk. I mean, he changed one color Jeep for another color Jeep. So I mean, and that Georgia defense, that's one of the best college defenses maybe ever. I mean, it was fully loaded, and he was the leader of that defense. But let me ask you, how do you feel about it? Because I know, like, we kind of were like, wow, when it happened, and I know you said I may not be happy with it. What's your thoughts, Jay?
Thinking about it realistically, it's not a flashy pick. And I've been trying to say to myself for the last month, for the last 2 months, even today, walking into everybody I've talked to, I don't think the Packers are going to draft a receiver until I actually see it with my own eyes. But again, the Packers fan in me and the guy who wants to see more flashy things on offense, of course I wanted to see a receiver pop up. But again, realistically, you just watched a team in the LA Rams again, and I was able to cover them last year. They had somebody at every level that could do everything. And so I think, the best way, I always love ripping on Tom Brady, so I'll take another chance here. Tom Brady went to a lot of Super Bowls with really good defenses and questionable receivers. So if we have a chance to solidify, the Packers defense was incredible last year, special teams, we don't talk about that here.
But that is another thing that could help that.
Yes.
I mean, because the deeper your team is, the better your special teams is going to be.
Correct.
And with him, Chris Barnes, Keyshawn Nixon, look, say what you want about Keyshawn Nixon signing. And yes, I'm biased because, and I'll be honest, Keyshawn's a really good friend of mine. Keyshawn's going to really help out in that dime package, but he's going to be the number one gunner on that special teams unit. And he plays a lot like Jair, smaller guy, feisty, huge chip on his shoulder, not afraid to mix it up. Those are things and traits that Green Bay needed to have in special teams. And even some with that defense at times last year, they have it now. So, I mean, if you build that defense and you know what, you build a run now.
Right.
Now you have two of the best backs. We both know that. You have a great tandem. That's less pressure on Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have to do as much, let's say, in the postseason where, if we're going to be all the way real about everything, and I'm not ripping on Aaron Rodgers, but look, his last couple of playoff performances has not been great.
Put up 0 points last time, so that's you're not wrong there. I think the biggest benefit this selection brings to Green Bay is, like you said, the dime and the nickel packages, where you can probably put Walker and Campbell out there as the two linebackers. You could rush a ridiculous 4, especially if Green Bay picks up an edge rusher or another interior lineman in the next couple of picks. They could have one of the best dime packages in the entire league, if I'm being honest.
If you're looking at the dime package last year against San Francisco in the playoffs, they were like 2 for 9 passing. And, and that was with hurt Jair Alexander playing with a still banged up shoulder. I'm saying banged up to be nice about everything.
Right.
So you look at the corners, that could be the best threesome as a corner group in the NFL. How are you going to pass on that? And now you got backers that can come up. Hit you with a pass in the run. They can also defend the pass. They can rush the pass. You are legitimately building a defense that's going to be a top 5 defense in the NFL.
So, Joe, my last big question for you. We'll be back on in a few minutes when pick 28 does happen. But I am curious, where do the Packers go with 28? There's Dax Hill is still there. If he's a safety, if we really want to, I don't want to know what Packers Twitter is going to do if we go double defense. I would love to see it. But what do you think they do with 28? Is it Pickens? Is it Dax Hill? Jermaine Johnson, I believe, is still available. So my guy could still get selected. Where do we go with 28? What's the direction that you want to see the rest of this draft go?
If it's Jermaine Johnson and he's still there, you have to take that pick. Now your defense is special.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he lasted this long. But I'm gonna look at receivers. I'm gonna look at Pickens at that point. That's why I look at him. Dax Hill's another guy. But here's the thing: I would even look back at trading back and maybe getting that first pick in the second round, where you have a lot of capital, and you kind of can maneuver that way. And the outside linebacker that tore his Achilles from Michigan, very well.
David Ojabo. Yep.
Ojabo's a guy. Maybe that's where you take a chance. Okay, we're going to redshirt him this year.
Fair.
And have a guy that first year, he's got the fifth-year option. We'll have him year 4 on, or year 2 on, for 4 years, which would be a good thing as well. So, but I think the best player available at the biggest position in need, which is receiver, and Pickens, it makes sense. A guy I like, and he's not a first-round guy, is Romeo Douglas from
Okay.
Nevada, from UNR. I've watched him play in person quite a few times. He's out here in Vegas playing against UNLV. He can only return kicks, not return punts and kicks. The guy is 6'2", 215 pounds, strong, athletic, and fast, strong hands, long arms. And it's the thing that people don't talk about a lot. He's got a huge catch rate. Okay. His catch rate is infinite. So he's the guy that I would take an eye on, take a flyer on. Round 2, keep an eye on him. But I'm going to tell you something. We got a special guest joining us at Pick 28. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to give you a little hint. You love her Zoom calls.
Yes, you do. Joe, last question I have for you before we go. Give me just a basic rating of the pick. 1 to 10. What do you think? This is a very initial reaction.
You know what? I liked him a lot. And I, at one point, wanted him to be drafted by Green Bay early in the process. And it really was after the national championship game because I've seen the traits of a leader that I look for in the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm going to say an 8.
Okay.
I mean, you take away just the wanting the receiver aside, you look at this, what it is for what it is, I think an 8. I think he fits, and I actually like the fit. What about you?
I'm going a little too homer. I'll give it like a 7.5. It's just I have to, and I'm being honest about it. Like, at least I'm telling you. Once I actually dig a little bit more into it, and once I see what the Packers defense can do with it, I guarantee you after one game I'm going to like it a lot more.
So what you're saying is after I take you out and get you hammered tonight?
Yes, then it will be like an 8.8. Then I'll be thrilled about it. But that's for later. Yes, we will be back in a few moments. We're at about pick 25 right now, so we're going to take a few minutes break, get a drink, and then we'll be right back here again with a special guest for selection number 28, our reactions, our analysis, all of that. Thank you for watching Game on Wisconsin. MJ, Joe, we will be back in a few moments.